All right, guys, welcome to the fifth episode of this series, Programming with Python 101. In this episode, we are going to look at typecasting and also accepting input from a user. Okay, good. So, typecasting is very important. It's very fundamental to. So as a programmer, sometimes you develop an application that accepts user input. So let's say you want the user to provide his age, okay? Then instead of the user typing, let's say the user is 20 years, instead of the user to type 20 years, then the user will type 20, you spell 20. Okay. Maybe you are going to make certain calculations based on the age. We cannot make calculation in regard to the spelling of 20 unless the number 20. Good. So it's very important to handle typecasting in programming. So this is basically a scenario I give. So what we are going to do is we are going to have three variables: x is equal to 5, y is equal to, let's say, 50, then z is equal to um, 8.5 or 8.9. Okay. At the end of the day, I'm going to print the type they are. So type, then x. Okay. Then print type again, y. Then we have print type z. Sorry, type z. Okay, good. So at the end of the day, I'm going to have print. Then I want to distinguish between the first type and then also the convention. Okay, good. So I'll print these things. Then I have integer, string, float. This is not a number. Okay, this is not an integer. This is a float because it is in a double quotation. Okay, and string can be either single or double quote. Okay, you can have this. It still works fine. Okay, good. So we can maintain either this or we have our double quote. Good, good. So what we can do here is that we can typecast these tabs. Okay, we can typecast these tabs. So I will say that casted, okay, x. I'm using the camel case in convention. Casted x, so it's 5, right? It's an integer, so I want to send it to a float. Okay, I want to send it to a float. So what we'll do is that float, then I'll put x over there. Okay, the variable x, because it's holding the value 5. So what I will do is I will print, okay, I'll print them together. So let's cast them first. Then I will have casted y equal to, so y is how do you call it, a string. Okay, string data type. So I want to send it to float, sorry, integer. So I'll say int, then I'll put y over there. Then casted z equal to, then I want to send z to let's say integer. Okay, that would be very interesting. Now let's not be biased, string. Okay, string, then I'll put z over here. Now even I could still change this to an integer and we'll see something. So I'll call this variable new casted z. Okay, then I'll say string, sorry, integer rather. Then I'll put my z again. So down here I could say print casted x, then print again casted y, print casted z. Okay, then I could print the casted new rat. new casted Z. Good. So this is going to change from integer to float, and also from a string to an integer, and also this one from float to string and float to integer. So let's, yes, we will need to add the type, sorry. So type, we need to add the type to see the type. Okay. All right, so I'll run this. Good. So the above codes, those ones before this line, okay, are the one we defined. Okay. So you have integer, string, and float. Now if you could see the type of this integer has been changed to float over here because of the convention. Then this one, which was string, has been changed to an integer because of the convention over here. Okay, and this one to this. Now, my concern is this last one. Okay, this last one. If you could remember, the value of the z is 8.9. So when we convert it to an integer, where would the 9 go? Right? It's a very good question. So what we can do is, I will say that print then new casted. Okay, so I could print it. Then we see it's 8. Instead of 8.9, it's 8. It will ignore the decimal, okay, and deal with the value. It will not run it. It will just maintain the decimals. But when we get to mathematics convention, we look at how we can round numbers to the nearest numbers and those mathematics. So I'll clear all this code. I'm going to accept user input, then I'll convert them. Okay, good. So accepting user input, there's a function called input function. And this function is a string data type. Okay, so I'm going to say that, let's say f name, let's say first name, camel casing convention. Then I will say input, okay, it's a string data type. So enter first name, give a column, then a space. Right. So if I run this code, you see it will prompt me here that I should enter first name. Then you could type something over there. Good. So we could have another one. I will say age equal to input. Okay, input. Then we say enter your age, colon, then space. All right. So let's say I'll stop this. Still running over here. Then I'll run it again. Then it says enter first name. Let's say, enter. Then it will give me the age. Let's say 5. Now you could see that, as I said earlier, the input function, this input function is what we call a string data type. Okay, good. It's a string by nature. Okay, and one thing you have to be doing as a programmer is that you always need to search for stars. Okay, so let's say or read documentations, input function, type input functions in Python. Then can go to W3 schools. Okay, it's a very resourceful platform. So it's in Python, we use input function, take input from user, then whatever you enter as input converts it into a string. Have you seen? So it's a string by nature. So if you're asking the user to type, let's say, enter your age, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say print, then first name, or let me come, print type of first name, okay, then I'll say print another type, then I'll say age, right? Good. So if I run this code, it will ask me of my name, let's say Mohammed, enter. Then ask of age, let's say 67. Good. So you see, this one is number. We see it as number, but then it's what? Um, a string over here. So we need to typecast this guy. So in order to do that, age cannot be float. You can't have even they ask you how old are you, say I'm 15.5. No, it's just an integer. Okay, and a positive integer too. You can't be negative 5 years old. No. All right, good. So maybe that would be my son, negative 5 years old, because he's not born yet. All right, so I could have, let's say, int here. I'll wrap this whole thing with an int here. So what it will do is that it will, yes, it will accept the input from the user. After accepting the input, it will convert it into an integer over here. You understand? So we have what? Typecast that guy. All right, good. So when I run this code like this, it will ask me of my name. I'll say Muhammad. Then age, I'll say 34. So you could see that we have the string, which is the first name, which is supposed to be a string. Then we have what we call the age as an integer. With what? Typecasted. We've converted it to an integer. So it is very, very essential to know all these things and how it works. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and share to your friends. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.